So we're in the middle of the discussion about joy.
About what?
Joy.
Joy. Simcha.
Simcha. And we discussed last time that a person, if he has foreign thoughts during the day, during his work hours or during his things, what should he do? He says, you shouldn't get upset. You should look at it as an opportunity that God gave you. This is your job as a human being, to push these bad desires away. So if you are by your work and all kinds of desires fall into your mind constantly, the usual thing to do is to be upset that you're such a low person, let's call it. The Alter Rebbe says, what are you doing? God gave you an opportunity to push it away. This is your job, and this is what you're going to do the rest of your life. It's never going to go away. It's just going to change. It will change from one thing to another thing for a more refined thing. But it will always remain with you. This is your job. This is what you do. Don't get upset. Today, we're going to switch it. How are we going to switch it? This is when bad thoughts fall into your mind when you're doing your business. But what if bad thoughts fall into your mind when you're trying to do a mitzvah? For example, you're praying. You're supposed to concentrate on godliness at the time you pray. Imagine, think about it this way. If you notice a beautiful woman and you think about her for 1 second and then push it away, when you're at your job, is your wife upset? Maybe a little bit, but not. Yeah, let's say she sees your mind. Yeah, let's say she reads your mind. Is she upset? No, you pushed it away. She's happy. Yeah, she's happy. She's not concerned about it so much. But imagine now it's the time you spend with your wife. And right now it's an intimate time between you and your wife. And then she reads your mind that you're thinking about another woman. Oh, now it's... So this is the same thing. When we think about our desires when we're at work, God says, I'm not so happy, but you know what? I understand. But the problem is, what happens if this is our intimate time with God, and then we think about our desires? Maybe then we should be upset. Maybe then we should do something about it. So let's see. This is the beginning of chapter 28. Chapter 28, the Alter Rebbe starts, ואפילו, and even, אם נופלים לו הרהורי תאוות, even if they fall to him, all kinds of thoughts of desire, of all kinds of desires, ושאר מחשבות זרות, and any other foreign thoughts, בשעת העבודה בתורה, the person is learning Torah, he's one with God, and instead of thinking about the Gemara, instead of thinking about the Mishnah, he's thinking about the neighbor's wife. Yeah, it says, God says, I understand when you're at work, but when you're with me, you're doing it. When you daven, when a person praying to God, then all of a sudden he's thinking about, I need to do this, I need to do that. This is an intimate time between me and you, God says. או בתפילה בכוונה, or when you daven with real intent, all of a sudden all these bad thoughts come. And that must be because I'm a low life. I should be upset because of it. That's what you would think. So the Alter Rebbe says, no, you're wrong. Al yashit lev alehen. It says, don't pay attention. Push it away and continue. Don't pay attention. Don't deal with it. אל יסיט לב עליהן. אלא יסיח דעתו מהם כרגע. Just push them away and continue with your walk. Push them away and continue with your walk. But the question is, doesn't that show about my level of marriage with God? I'm intimate with Him and I'm thinking about everybody else's wife except Him. Doesn't it? Shouldn't be upset at least because of that. So then he continues. It says, the Alter Rebbe brings in other places in Kabbalah. Let me say it outside first. Other places in Kabbalah says it as follows. Says what happens. The other places in Gemara talks about elevating your desires. And I'll explain what it means to elevate your desires. A person is learning Torah, and all of a sudden, he has a desire, oh, I want a good steak. Yeah, I want a good steak. So in the middle of learning Torah, that's what the guy think about. Oh, you know what? A good steak will be nice right now. Yeah? So it says there's a way to elevate the desire. What's the way to elevate that desire? Is to contemplate. What's the contemplation? Think about how much enjoyment you're going to get from the steak. Substantial amount. But think about how much enjoyment you're going to get from understanding this piece of Torah that you're learning. An infinitely higher enjoyment. So take the energy you have for eating the steak and transfer it, that energy, that desire, to understanding the Torah you're learning. And that way you elevate the bad desire and you just transfer it into good desire. Give you another example. You are in learning Torah, and all of a sudden it says, ooh, I can make money in the stock market because this stock is doing, I just got an idea for the stock market. Right? How can you elevate that thing? So it says, oh, so another way to elevate it says, after I study Torah, because this is what I'm doing right now, I'm going to use that knowledge, that desire, in order to invest money so I can open up a school. Not so I can go to the casino and gamble. Not so I can drink a nice cup of whiskey. But I'm going to use that money for godliness. Again, that's another way of elevating your desires. Elevating the negative thoughts. And over here, the Alter Rebbe says, don't do that. When you're in the middle of davening, you're in the middle of prayer, and bad thoughts come around, don't start elevating them. So let's see why not. וגם אל יהי שוטה, and also don't be a fool. לעסוק בהעלאת המידות, trying to elevate all these desires. של המחשבה זרה, of these evil thoughts that you have. כנודע, like it is known in other places, like some people do. Why not? Why you shouldn't do it? Maybe I should do it. So he says, no, you shouldn't. כי לא נאמרו דברים ההם, because those things, to elevate the bad desires, are only told to the righteous. Only righteous people can elevate bad desires. Ah, excellent. I was waiting for that. Say that again. Say that loud.
It doesn't enter their minds. That's it. I heard that, yeah.
Righteous people don't have bad desire. What are you talking about, Alter Rebbe? Let's continue. לא נאמרו דברים האלה, אלא לצדיקים. Those things to elevate bad desires are only told to the righteous. But Over here he says, but righteous people don't have bad desires. So he explains, שאין נופלים להם מחשבות זרות שלהם, that righteous people don't have bad desires on their own. They don't have their own bad desires. כאם משל אחרים, but they have other people's bad desires. Let's explain what it means. Do you remember when Yitzchak, let's take a camera, when Yaakov is blessing his sons before he dies, and he has a prophecy, and then it all disappears, his prophecy disappears, he doesn't have the prophecy anymore, and it says why he doesn't have prophecy? Because he saw the descendants of one of the tribes sin. So the prophecy goes away. In other words, the environment around the righteous people, a righteous person, it's not that the righteous person knows your thoughts. It's more than that. The righteous person experiences your thoughts. Not that he knows it, he experiences it. I'll give you another example. When Yaakov goes to Yitzchak to get the blessings, do you remember what Yitzchak tells him? I see the atmosphere of the Garden of Eden. I smell Garden of Eden on you, he tells him. Why? Because he's expecting who to come? He's expecting Esav to come. Usually when Esav comes, he experiences Esav's aura. And all of a sudden, Esav's come, and instead of experiences Esav's aura, he experiences whose aura? Yaakov's aura. He was surprised. That's right. But he could experience the aura of it. So this is the righteous people. It says, when a righteous person has a desire, it knows that it's not from him, it's from an experience of a person next to him, and therefore, since it is not in him, he can elevate it. But us, the experience is us. You can't elevate yourself. It's like somebody is intimate with his wife and is experiencing in thought the neighbor's wife. How is he going to elevate it? This is who he is. He is a person who's attracted to the neighbor's wife. There's no way to experience it. In the opposite, if he dwells in it, he's trying to elevate it. It's like one of the things, don't think about a pink elephant. The more he tries not to think about the neighbor's wife, the more he's actively doing what? Thinking about the neighbor's wife. He's never going to become out of it. So
that's why when Yaakov was with Leah, I bet he was thinking about Rachel.
That's right. I mean, the Kabbalah is going to discuss it. That's what Reuven comes out. Yes.
Didn't you tell me once that when you're praying, let's say I'm doing the Amida, and all of a sudden some crazy, disgusting thought.
Stop that thought. That's exactly what we're going to be discussing today. Stop that thought.
Okay. Well, you told me you told me something.
Okay. אבל מי שנופל לו משלו, but somebody whose bad thoughts that falls upon him is not from outside. It's not like a tzaddik, it comes from outside. It's his own bad thoughts that come. It's his own experience. It's his own evil inclination. מבחינת הרע שבליבו בחלל השמאלי, it comes from the left, from the wicked part that is in his left ventricle. איך יעלהו למעלה? What is he going to think? He's going to think about, I shouldn't be thinking about my neighbor's wife. The more he thinks about it, the more he's thinking about his neighbor's wife. והוא עצמו מקושר למטה. He is an entity that is attracted to his neighbor's wife. Or to, in our things, we're talking about the neighbor's wife. Who's the neighbor's wife in a relationship to God? The desires of the world. So it says, so all day long, when I'm trying to be intimate with God, all these things come around and interfere constantly. So why shouldn't I be upset? I can't connect to God. There's no way for me to connect to God. Maybe I should be upset now. So he continues, Ach אף על פי כן, but nevertheless, אל ייפול ליבו, shouldn't get saddened, בקרבו, להיות מזה עצב, to become sad, נבזה בשעת העבודה, because if you're going to become sad, you're not serving God the proper way. What are you doing? Now you're supposed to serve God. Now you're sad, you don't have the energy to daven. Oh, miserable me, I'm all the time thinking about the neighbor's wife. God asks you right now, connect to me. You don't have the energy now to connect to him if you're sad about not being able to connect to him.
That's where the joy comes in, right? You're supposed to have the joy.
שצריך להיות בשמחה רבה. He needs to be with great joy right now. Not time for sadness. אלא אדרבה, but more, how much more so? יתחזק יותר, he should become stronger, ויוסיף אומץ, and he's going to strengthen himself, בכל כוחו, with all his might, בכוונת התפילה בחדווה, to daven the words with greater intention, ושמחה יתרה, and greater joy. Why? And now the Alter Rebbe is going to turn everything upside down. Besumo libo, you know what you should be thinking right now? Why should it make you, why should it have great joy right now? Besumo libo, you're going to have great joy. You know why? Pay attention in your heart. Ki nefilat hamachshava zara hi, that the evil thoughts that came into your mind, hi mehaklipa shebechalal השמאלי. It is from the left ventricle. העושה מלחמה בבינוני עם נפש אלוקית שבו. That does war in a בינוני with his godly soul. The Alter Rebbe is not going to give us a new perspective when bad thoughts come to us when we try to connect to God. Most people, when bad thoughts come around when you try to connect to God, become upset. We get disappointed in ourselves. Exactly.
Could it be bad thoughts like my neighbor wife, or could it be
Any thoughts that are not God. Any thoughts that are not about God. That's right. Any thoughts are not about God. How much more so bad thoughts. Yeah.
If you blame yourself and you start feeling bad about what a little person you are, it's just going to get you further from yourself, right?
Yeah, but the question is, but it makes sense to become bad. So how to do this? How to do this? So we're going now to, the Alter Rebbe is going to teach us a psychological tool to use how you can be happy. He's going to say as follows, happy, not just not sad, happy. He says, the fact that you try to attach yourself to God, he's going to go the opposite way. He's going to say, if you prayed, and it went well, and you felt great, and you didn't think about anything about God, you know what it means? You didn't pray.
Can you repeat?
Yes, I'm going to say it again. It says a person who started davening and his heart is on fire. He's loving it. He feels attached to God. And he's got no interference. He goes higher and higher and higher. He is never attached to God. And the proof is that the evil inclination didn't rise up. He didn't mind it. That's the proof. See, when you're attached to God, the first thing the evil inclination does if he's threatened. The more you're attached, the more threatened he feels, the more evil thoughts he's going to give you. Days that you're not attached to God, the evil inclination will not bother you because anyway you're not doing anything. You're not bothering him. You don't have intention. On the days you don't have intention, he doesn't mind not bothering you. Because you don't have intention anyway. You know when he's going to start bothering you, the Alter Rebbe says, the evil inclination? On the days you really try to have intentions, when you really try to connect to God, then he's going to start bothering you. So the proof that the evil inclination came during davening is that now the evil inclination is threatened, that's why he's talking. If it is not talking, it means that he's not threatened. You're not davening properly. So if you are feeling great at davening, great at connection to God, and you feel all yourself, the evil inclination is not threatened. Do you know why? Because not once did you think about God. You know what you thought about the entire time? Your own feelings. How great is it? My own feelings, that is what you're concentrating on. And the evil inclination says, continue, have great things. Continue. He likes it. He's not going to interfere when you go off the way, when all your intention is about your own feelings and you couldn't care about what God needs. I'll give you an example. The Alter Rebbe was one time in an inn. The whole time. And the owner of the inn didn't know he was the Alter Rebbe, but he felt that he was a special person. And this owner of the inn came to the Alter Rebbe and he said, look, I have a problem with my service of God. Maybe you can help me. So the Alter Rebbe says, what is your problem? Let me know. So he told him, this is my problem. And that person used to give a lot of charity. All the time, to whoever needed. He used to open his house to poor people. He used to donate to people. He used to be giving lots and lots and lots of charity for all people. So he told the Alter Rebbe, you know, when I do the service of God, I have a great feeling with it. I have a high. I feel so good about what I'm doing. I feel so great about what I'm doing. I feel like I'm serving myself and not God. That's what he told the Alter Rebbe. So the Alter Rebbe looked at him and he smiled and he told him one word, which is very, very deep, not one word, one sentence. He told him, the poor person doesn't know that. Now, what does he mean when he said the poor person doesn't know that? It says, instead of thinking about what the poor person needs, you know what you're thinking about? Your own connection to God. What do you care how you feel? Did you help the poor person? That's what you should concentrate on. Helping the poor person, not your feelings. As long as you're helping the poor person, that's what's important. Your feeling, who cares about your feelings? Feel good about it, feel bad about it. I don't care what you feel. In other words, you're full of yourself, the Alter Rebbe told him. The fact that you're upset, that you have feelings, that shows that you are full of yourself. Who cares? You help the poor person, that's what you should concentrate on. The same thing with God. When we connect to God, it's not about how we feel. Are we serving God? Is God happy? You know when is God happy? God is happy when I try to connect to Him and the evil inclination interferes and I push the evil inclination away. That's when God is happy. Am I happy? Who cares if I'm happy? That's not the point. The point is the service of God. It says you concentrate on the wrong thing. So let's read it inside. Venoda, and it is known, derech hanilchamim. It is the way of two guys who are wrestling each other, who are fighting each other. V'chen haneivakim yachad, those who fight against each other. Kshe'echad mitgaber, when the more the good inclination, the godly soul becomes stronger, אזי השני מתאמץ להתגבר גם כן. The evil inclination feels threatened now. He's getting connected to God. I better do something about it. I better start talking. But if he's not getting to get connected to God, he just feels himself, I don't mind. The inclination is not going to get involved.
Are you telling me, Rabbi, that the more I try to connect to God, the more interference I'm going to get?
That's right.
Oh, that's horrible.
That's right. That's right. The closer you will get to him, the worse it will get. That's when it says that the more righteous a person is, the more evil inclination he has.
Otherwise, there is no free will.
מתאמץ להתגבר גם כן בכל מאמצי כוחו. The evil inclination comes in. So if ever you had good davening, and you feel great after the davening, and the evil inclination didn't bother you, stop. There's a problem in your davening. There's a problem in your prayer. You didn't really connect to God. You know what you connected to? Your emotions. You didn't think about God, you thought about yourself. ולכן, and therefore, כשהנפש האלוקית מתאמצת ומתגברת להתפלל, when the godly soul has a great desire to attach himself to God, אזי גם הקליפה מתגברת כנגדה. Then the other side fights against it, לבלבלה, to confuse it, להפילה במחשבה זרה, to take it away from the concentration with evil thoughts. ולא כטעות העולם, don't make the mistake of the regular folks, שטועים להוכיח that they think they have a proof מנפילת המחשבה זרה when they have foreign thoughts, מכלל שאין תפילתם כלום. That means that they're not really attaching themselves to God. The opposite. It's exactly the opposite. The fact that they have foreign thought means that they are attaching themselves to God. שאילו יתפלל כראוי ונכון, לא היו נופלים לו מחשבות זרות. They think that if they would have davened properly, I wouldn't have bad thoughts. You're wrong. Every time you know when you don't have bad thoughts, when you don't daven properly. That's when you don't have bad thoughts. When you daven properly, you're going to have bad thoughts all the time. והאמת היה כדבריהם, and the truth was like they say. Next page, 125. אם הייתה נפש אחת לבדה היא המתפללת, if it was only one soul that prays, והיא המחשבת והמהרהרת מחשבות זרות, and this is the soul that used to think bad thoughts. We're going to go back a little bit. Do you remember Rivka when she had Yaakov and Esav? And Yaakov and Esav were constantly fighting in her womb. One was fighting to go to holy places, and the other fighting was trying to get out for unholy places. We discussed it before. Rivka was upset. That's why she went to Shem to ask, hey, what's going on? This baby of mine is crazy.
That's Shem, the son of Noah?
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah. So she went to him and she asked him, what's going on with me? So he says, why are you so much concerned? So she says, if my baby didn't have such a strong desire for holiness, and he was just, mild holiness and mild desires, other desires, I can accept it. It doesn't make sense to have such a strong desire for holiness and such a strong desires for anti-holiness. It doesn't work together. It means the baby is crazy. And what did Shem tell her? Notice what Shem tell her. He says, don't worry about it. There are 2 kids within you. And then she was calm. And then she says, okay, now she's smiling. The question is, why is she smiling now? Esav still wants to do bad things. That doesn't bother her, that Esav wants to do bad things.
She's got one good.
Because she wants to do bad things.
The desire to do bad things is us. Esav is Esav, the Esav that she experienced, that she knew, that Shem told her about us, is us, the Beinoni. Yaakov is the tzaddik. She says, I'm not concerned that the Yaakov, that the Beinoni, that an Esav, us, has what? Has desires all the time that goes against godliness. That is not my concern. My concern is that it shouldn't be in the same person. So over here it tells you it's two different things. Think about it, I don't know how to say it, it's like, split personality where you completely live. Two different entities are at the same time.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah, but Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, each one expresses itself one at a time. This Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde express themselves at the same time. One part of you wants to connect to God, and the other parts of you want to connect to anti-God at the same time. That's everybody of us. That's not just you, it's every Jew, except even tzaddik. If you're not a tzaddik, that's who you are. Not just you. You have one 100% dedicated for godliness, and the other one 100% dedicated for anti-godliness. And the stronger the one gets, the weaker the other one gets. אבל באמת לאמיתו, but in truth is, הם שני נפשות הנלחמות זו עם זו במוחו. These are two entities who are trying to take over the body of the person. כל אחת חפצה ורצונה למשול בו, להיות המוח ממולא ממנו לבדה. Each one wants to win the war over the faculties of the person. So as soon as the evil inclination sees that the good inclination is winning, it is attaching himself to God, he's going to rise up. If the evil inclination thinks he's attaching himself to God, but he's only have feelings about himself, he only cares about himself, he doesn't mind. He's not going to fight. In the contrary, he's going to tell you, good job, do the same thing tomorrow also. Because you never thought about God, you only thought about yourself. Let's continue. וכל הרהורי תורה ויראת שמיים מנפש האלוקית, and all good thoughts about Torah and good thoughts about connecting to God, it is from the godly soul. וכל מילי דעלמא מנפש הבהמית, and all the desires of the world is from the animal soul. רק שהאלוקית מלובשת בה. It is the godly soul who is dressed in the animal soul. And now he's going to give us an analogy. So you started to pray, you're starting to connect to God, and something happens. So he's going to give you the analogy. והוא כמשל אדם המתפלל בכוונה. Think about an analogy of a person who prays with intent. By the way, what does it mean? We use these words all the time, to pray with intent. What does it mean to pray with intent? Simple. Don't overcomplicate things. Praying with intent means one thing. Think about the words you're saying. That's it. Don't forget Kabbalistic, forget anything. Think about the words you're saying. Or like I tell the kids all the time, when you're reading a passage and you want to remember it, you have to make a movie of this passage in your head. You have to imagine the movie. You're not reading letters, you're not reading words, you're seeing an image. Make a movie in your brain. This is what it means to pray with intent. By the way, did you ever see a person who prays without looking at the siddur? You see many times. And you will fool yourself to think he's praying with intent. He's not. He's not. It is impossible to have intent without looking at the words. Impossible. And I tell you that from zero. Do you know how many times I prayed Shmona Esrei, and even more than Shmona Esrei? I prayed half the davening, because I know many of it by heart. And I found myself, after 5 minutes of davening, I don't remember a word I said. I said everything with my mouth. By heart. It's okay. When you're driving, you're not thinking about it. I was driving. I don't remember a word. I don't remember saying Shmona Esrei. I find myself after Shmona Esrei, I don't remember davening the whole thing. Why? Simple. I didn't imagine it in my mouth. Once you start doing it, it just becomes blah, 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 blah. One word follows the other. You don't think about a word you're saying. A person is supposed to think about, make an image, make a story. That's intent. Don't make it complicated. המתפלל בכוונה, so a person is davening and he has a story in his mind. The moment you're going to have a story in your mind, you know what's going to happen? Try it. You see next time. Every time I tried it, it works 100%. Even inclination will jump in. Think about this. When you don't have a story in your mind, the even inclination doesn't time. The 10 minutes that I daven by myself, blah, 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 blah. I said all the words. Not one evil thought came into my mind. That's why I was able to do the whole thing. Because as soon as a bad thought comes into your mind, it stops you. You don't remember where you are. You have to look back at the book. The fact that I was able to do it means I didn't have one evil thought. Why? Because the evil inclination wasn't threatened. Why it wasn't threatened? Because I wasn't thinking. I didn't have intentions. Tell you another story. This is a story about the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe. One of his Hasidim came over to him. His father passed away. He had a business, a shmata business in downtown Brooklyn. And he came to the Rebbe and he told him, look, when my father was running the business, I was helping him all the time also. And the business was doing, I know how much the business was doing. It was doing quite well. And when my father passed away and I took over the business is not doing well. Why is it? So the Friedeker, the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, smiled at him. And he asked him like this. He says, when your father used to sit in the business and there was no client came in, what did he do?
Right.
Oh, he says, well, that's very good. He says, he said Tehillim. He said Tehillim. He said the Psalms. That's what he said. That's what he used to know. He used to say the Psalms. And it says, and what do you do when the same thing? He says, I read the newspaper. So he says, this is exactly what we're discussing here. What does it mean? Whenever the person was during prayer, the evil inclination says, I am threatened. I don't want the guy to get connected to God. Therefore, I'm going to send him a client to stop him from connecting to God so that he won't be able to connect. But when you're reading a newspaper, the evil inclination says, go ahead, continue to read the newspaper. The evil inclination is not going to make sure there's a client that walks in. So it's the same thing over here.
Wow. That's a stretch. Okay.
Yeah? Yeah. So you see, it's exactly the same logic. It's what's happening over here. The evil inclination is only going to be awakened when you have a connection. When you don't have a connection, it's unawakened. So here you have an image in your mind, and you're trying to connect to God, and what's going to happen immediately? The evil inclination is going to come around. ועומד לנגדו ערל רשע, and all of a sudden comes a non-Jew, a Nazi, a wicked Nazi comes, ומסיח ומדבר עמו, and he starts talking to him. Hey, what's going on? How's the stock market? How's Trump doing? What's with Iran? Hey, look at that lady over there. Whatever it is. כדי לבלבלו, in order to confuse him, because he sees, he has an image in his mind, he's connecting. He has intent. שזאת עצתו בוודאי. So what should you do? What should you do? Start mingling with him? שלא להשיב לו מטוב עד רע. It says, don't be like those guys who think I'm going to elevate him. You won't be able to elevate him. It says, once you have fight with Dudu, if you know what I'm saying, you have a fight with Dudu, you're going to stink afterwards. That's it. You can't fight against it. מטוב ועד רע, it says, don't tell him good, don't tell him bad. ולעשות עצמו כחרש. You know what your job is to do now? Connect to God. Have an image. Don't listen. לא ישמע. You shouldn't hear anything he says. ולקיים מה שכתוב, you should fulfill what is written. אל תען כסיל באיוולתו. It says, don't answer a fool when he's making jokes. There's no way to... Once, if you answer him, you lost. When there's a joke, everybody is serious, and there's a joker who's making jokes, trying to interfere with the seriousness of everybody. Once you lower yourself to him, that's it. You're in his world. You're not going to win. פן תשווה לו. Because if you do, you're coming down to his level. And you know on his level who's better? He is better. He's a greater joker than you are. He's going to say zingers that you don't even think about. You don't have, all his life he's waiting for what? For zingers to say. He's been practicing that evil inclination. You can't have a conversation with him. He's going to win. Don't start battle with him. פן תשווה לו גם אתה, lest you become like him. כך אל ישיב מאומה. This, don't answer him anything. ושום טענה ומענה נגד המחשבה זרה. And don't even start discussing against this evil thought. Why? כי המתאבק עם מנוול מתנבל. Because when you fight with somebody who's dirty, you're going to get dirty. Don't fight. Don't go down to his level. So what should you do? רק יעשה עצמו, you should make it כלא יודע, like he's not there, ולא שומע ההרהורים, and not hearing the thoughts. Go back and concentrate on the movie you have in your brain. שנפלו לו, ויסירה מדעתו, completely. In other words, don't think about, I'm not supposed to be thinking about the pink elephant in the room. No, once you're starting to think, I'm not supposed to be thinking about it, you're thinking about it. Just live it. Concentrate on what you're supposed to do. ויוסיף אומץ בכוח כוונתו. And you should have greater strength in your intention. And you do the image, and he's going to talk. You do the image, he's going to talk. You do the image, he's going to talk. After a while, this is such a fight. By the way, now you're going to understand, in Kabbalah, prayer is called avoda. What does avoda mean? Work. Why is prayer called work? This is hard work. If you prayed and you didn't work, you didn't pray. The definition of prayer is work. If you prayed and there was no work, don't call it prayer. You didn't pray.
So the work is fighting off the evil. The work is fighting off the evil thoughts.
Fighting off and constantly having the image, the intent, the image of the words. What does it mean? To paint the picture, to have the movie in your brain. And if you get to say, I can't do it anymore. I'm fighting, and nothing is happening. It's continuous like this, continuous. So I can fight. A person has a limit, and a person should know his limit. I can fight for 10 times, 15 times, 30 times, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. There's going to be a time where I can't do it anymore. That's it, I'm done. I can't fight against him. There's just so much energy a person has. It's called work for a good reason. So what now? ואם יקשה לו להסירם מדעתו, and if it's very difficult for him to remove those thoughts from your mind, מפני שטורדים דעתו מאוד בחוזקה, because they really pushing him with great strength, you know what you should do then? אזי ישפיל נפשו להשם. Then the only thing you can do is say to God, God, you know, I need an explanation. There are some things that God demands us to do. For example, to go to war with the evil inclination. God demands us to do. So we can't tell God, God, you go to war. No, God says, no, you go to war. It's your job. But a person can get to a stage that he goes to war with evil inclination and he notices he's losing. He's losing. So now, I'm losing the war. Now I should feel sad. I'm losing the war. So he says, if you get to the state that you're losing the war with evil inclination, you know what the next step is? Know that even this war, you need God's help. It's true that God first wants you to try to do your hardest and to do it on your own. But once you notice you can't do it anymore on your own, then you need God's help. אזי ישפיל נפשו להשם. You should say, you know what? You should say, God, I know you intended for me to make the war by myself. I know that's what your intention. And maybe a regular Benoni can do that. But I'm a weak. I'm not such a good Benoni. I can't do it by myself. I tried. It's hard. ויתחנן לו יתברך. And one should pray to God. Itchanen lo is more than prayer. It is, how do you say itchanen in English? Beg. Beg God. Itchanen lo. Not in words, because you're praying right now. You should stop for 1 second. You say, God, I can't do it anymore. In your thoughts, במחשבתו, what you should think, לרחם עליו. It says, God, you gave me a job. It's too big for me. Have mercy. Look what's happening. I'm trying, I'm working. But it's too big for me. לרחם עליו, have mercy on me. ברחמיו המרובים, with his great mercy, כרחם אב על בנים. It says, I'm your son. I want to do the right thing. But I'm weak. I'm trying to, you see. הנמשכים במוחו, וככה ירחם השם על נפשו. And it says, when a person brings himself down to the level that he says, God, I'm not strong enough even to be a Benoni, I need your help even in that, God says, go ahead. ירחם השם על נפשו הנמשכת מאיתו. God is going to have mercy on his soul that comes from him, להצילה, to save it. ממים הזדונים, from this evil water, ולמענו יעשה, and God is going to help you, כי חלק הוויה ממש עמו, because part of God is truly with him. God is going, in other words, God wants you to win the war. And when God sees that you're trying to fight the battle, you know what it is like? Did you ever play sports with your kid or with a small kid? Yeah? If you're a good father, you make it hard for the kid to score a goal. But when you see that the kid is not able to score a goal, what do? You make it a little bit easier. The same thing with God. He says, God, I know the game. I'm supposed to pray in this. It's too hard for me. When God sees that you're really trying, but by the way, if the kid is not really trying, you don't really want to do it. You need, God see, over here the same thing. When you're really trying, and it's called avoda, service of the heart, It's hard work. And you're really trying, and you're noticing that it's again and again and again, you do what you can, and then you can't anymore. Now is the time to ask God, I want to do the right thing. Help me. I'm not good enough. I need your help. This is what we do right now.